before we get into some of this over-under stuff, there was some news that came down today. Woj and Shams tweeted about things going on around the Sixers and Ben Simmons. And there are now reports that Ben Simmons could return to Sixers camp as early as this week. His agent, Rich Paul, is trying to work things out with the Sixers. It long been told Ben Simmons was in this for the long haul, guys. He was going to ride this out. He wasn't going to return back to the Sixers. But now it seems like he will, and it seems like that's going to be kind of awkward. What do you guys make of all of this, and how's this going to work out?
Look, man, first off, shout out to the legendary rap group Mobb Deep, who let you know ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Man, if you really about this life, you got to be about it, right? Like, and clearly Ben is not about it. Look, the to your point, Dex, about the situation in the locker room, going to be awkward for sure. Mm-hmm. And Ben is not a confrontational kind of guy, clearly. So we'll see how that whole inner dynamic is going to play out. The other thing, and I want to like stress this because it's important. I think Clutch made an error here. You know, this is bad advice they gave Ben. Remember, he had 4 years left on that deal. This wasn't, I got 2 left, I got 1, whatever. No, 4. Like, I mean, that's not and you are going toe-to-toe with Daryl Morey, who is as stubborn a GM as there is, and who has no problems with things being awkward or uncomfortable. He is 100% good with that. You know, we always often tell Daryl that he forgets the human element of it. So if it's anybody who was not going to balk, it was certainly not going to be Morey. And this is one of the byproducts of player empowerment, and which we're all for, and I love it. But sometimes you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win every battle, right? And this is one where Clutch, and I love what Clutch is doing and what their whole aim and their goal is as an agency. But this was one that they did not play well, and it's not a good look.
Yeah, I absolutely don't think they played it well. How much of this, Murph, in your opinion? I mean, it comes down to the money, right? Simmons didn't want to lose these checks that possibly were coming in. The $8.25 million we already knew a couple weeks ago was put into escrow. This has to be about the money, at least in my idea, why he wasn't about this holdout life.
Yeah, of course it's about the money. And from both sides, I would think, from Clutch, remember, they get paid when Ben gets paid. So I'm sure they're not too happy about Ben losing his money. Ben himself, I'm sure, is missing, that $8 million paycheck he was supposed to get, I think, a week ago or something like that. So, but again, to Jarod's point, this is something that you should have taken into account, and we thought they did. Like, why make this move and hold out if you're not prepared to lose some money? What did you expect? They were just gonna, bow to you right away and trade you, wherever you want to be traded, or just trade you in general? It doesn't make any sense. And his true leverage didn't come until the season started. Like, he would have had to take those money hits and let the season start. And let the 76ers realize, wow, like, what kind of team are we without Ben and without anybody to replace them? You're not even taking it that far. So I don't know. But on the other side, for Philly, it's a risk too. You're bringing this guy back in the mix. Like you said, it's going to be awkward to say the least. Does he come back in shape? We don't know. Does he try to pull a Harden? Is he going to play hard? All that kind of stuff. So, and then, is Embiid going to punch him in the face, a la, Geno Smith, from the Jets? So we don't know what's going to happen. It's still a risk, for Philly, I think, bringing him back in the mix, but we'll see how it plays out.
I guess when we all talk about how we don't know what's going to happen, I would think Philly's got the upper hand now, right, guys? Because they've got this guy back in camp. They got to look at him. They're going to look at him in his face like, we won. You came back on our terms here. And now we can still try to get the deal that we want. Do we think he plays any games for Philly at all? Or is this going to be a situation where he shows up, I'm injured, and while they try to work out this deal?
It depends on what Simmons does and what him and Rich Paul's plan is, right? Okay, he comes back, he starts showing up to practice, he starts getting, maybe he gets the $8 million back or some of it, because I'm sure they started taking some money out of that because it was in escrow. Then, because that was a $8 million payment due to start the season, not even related to games. Does he go? You got to go to games to get game checks, right? So does he go to a couple of games and he's like, all right, I'm gonna have an injury and I'm sitting out for 3 weeks or whatever the hell, right? Like, who the hell knows? I just think that, again, from the Philadelphia 76ers standpoint, Daryl Morey, he is sticking to his guns, man. He's like, nah, like I'm waiting to get what's best for the Sixers, not what's best for you. And really, the situation here is who it's a high stakes game of chicken. Who can blink first? And look, Ben and Rich blinked first, and it's going to be this kind of tit for tat thing going back. But again, with Ben being under contract for 4 more years, they don't have a ton of leverage outside of sitting down, making an injury last a little bit longer and have the Sixers start losing some games.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see this playing out. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be awkward for sure, and maybe some people should have thought about how this played out a little bit before they went down this road. But
chess, man, you got to play chess with this stuff, and it just seems like they were playing checkers.
Seems like they were playing checkers. Definitely seems like that.